And we are live. Hey, Rich, what you painting?
I'm painting up the guards of Traitors Toll.
All right.
These are the actual guards.
What scale is that?
It's like 28-ish. It's more historical miniatures scale because it's from War Games Atlantic.
Did you print these or plastic?
Plastic. Yep, all plastic.
Very cool.
They're multi-part plastics like the old GW style, arms, legs. And the thing that's neat is War Games Atlantic makes a massive line of miniatures for the medieval period. So, like, not these guys, but for some of the guys I'm making, I'm using their yeoman from the Barons War, which is like a very solid medieval history thing. And you can put arms from them on bodies from this, and so forth and so on. And it's campaign play, so every time you play, you get experience, and your guards get upgraded, and you can hire new guards to do it. And so it's like an RPG experience, and you can play it solo or co-op.
Yep. Very cool, Rich. I can vouch for War Games Atlantic because I think they make Space Nom, which are catechin proxies that I've painted and built about 40 of, and they're really cool models. Way better than the current catechins. I can say that.
They actually do a line of effectively
Rich, you have your camera on the wrong. You have your mic on the wrong camera.
Okay, I don't have a mic on. Which camera do you need?
Here, I can fix it. Don't worry.
It's completely separate.
There we go. It's easier if your mic is attached to your face camera, because that way, if I kick off your painting camera, you still talk. Does that make sense?
Gotcha. Yep.
Anyway, I am painting up. Well, Dusty, I figured Dusty's been painting one Ravener for like the past 4 weeks.
Uh-huh.
All right, I've got right here 15 Raveners primed and zenithalled, and so I thought I might paint them all on this stream tonight.
All 15?
All 15. At least get them base coated. I'm doing these for a friend. These are not mine, but I promised a friend that I would get them battle ready. Battle ready is based, battle ready is primed, and battle ready is 3 colors. So I am using contrast on a zenithal. I'll probably do a really thick dry brush towards the end, but I bet you I'll be able to get these speed painted for my buddy in no time. I'm really not worried about it. It's a very quick method of painting, which I'm sure Rich knows. If you need speed paint, it's a little bit different. This guy doesn't paint his models, isn't really even into it. So at the very least, he can just ship his models to me, and I'll make sure they're battle ready at the very minimum.
That's cool.
So that's what I'm working on.
This was one of the many things I picked up at Depticon was Guards of Traitors Toll.
What kind of game is it? Describe it a little bit.
It's like Mordheim. I mean, you're just guards. There's no other classes, races.
I know you just described to me it in detail, but we weren't rolling.
Oh, gotcha.
Give a little bit of the pitch that you gave.
So the game is set in a town called Traitors Toll.
I'm going to flip it over to your camera, by the way. I'm going to flip it to your camera so you can show off the models.
So in Traitors Toll, your characters are guards working for the city. Each has their own patron and their own. One of the neat things is you get traits. So each guard is you get 3 guards that have like their own traits, which might be one's smarter, one's more of this, more of that, and you also then can also get upgrades for your guards, and they can get experience. They have a stat block just like any other miniatures game. But the key is you're not necessarily fighting all the time. You might be like trying to find a lost kid. But what the plot is random, and there's some like storyline plots or special plots that after you complete a mission, it opens up that plot that you can do. So it has a storyline to it. But I saw it first on Peachy Tips. I don't know if you watch Peachy, who used to paint for Games Workshop.
He's British, right?
Yeah, and he does the 5 Leagues on the Borderland. He does a lot of like small skirmish
That's neat.
solo play games that you can play. This one can be solo or co-op. And the idea is you build your guard squad, which is pretty, like pretty basic. The equipment is all balanced, so like I might have a halberd on a guy, but it doesn't cost any more to have a halberd on a guy than a shield on a guy and a sword, because they're balanced to effective, to be the same. And then your guard squads can get bigger. You can hire ogres. There are ogres in it, at least. This is the
Okay.
ogre. Most of the models are plastic. The special characters like that ogre and stuff are resin.
Cool.
Very nicely cast resin too. No problems with it.
Not
Together.
ill cast, as some would say.
No, this is a clean. It reminds me of the Moonstone miniatures a lot. Anyway, it's a nice little skirmish game if you're a fan of Mordheim or any of them, or looking for a good solo game. It works well. But you also, with the experience points and all that, your RPGers when you like it. So
Now, Rich, here's a question I have for you. Did you buy the product, or were you giving it free for testing purposes?
oh no, I bought it. Yeah,
Okay.
I don't usually get miniature stuff.
How much did you end up spending on it?
Probably about $300.
Okay, and you got like the complete set. You feel like?
Everything that exists for it, pretty much.
Okay, $300 is a lot, but not so much if it's like a bunch of mini.
It's 200 miniatures.
Oh, that's easy value.
Yeah. If you compare it to GW pricing, it's you get a lot of miniatures because you need a ton of city folk, because they just kind of wander around and they become the bad guys, good guys in your storyline. So having a bunch of them wandering around. Then on top of that, I probably spent about, I don't know, 20 hours printing buildings for it. The buildings are just STLs I already had, so they can make a nice little town.
Okay.
And I can bring in some of the Moonstone guys, make them like townsfolk and stuff. So I can pretty much, if I wanted to, I could have just played with like my cities of Sigmar miniatures. In some respects, scale wise, they're a little off though. So
Makes sense. Scale doesn't matter too much if they're all on the right bases.
it matters to me. Matters to people who care.
All right, Rich, I got a hot take for you.
Yeah.
The hot take is that I think Warhammer is a bad hobby to get into if you don't enjoy painting, modeling, and building terrain and like the hobby. I think it is a low value hobby.
Yeah.
Like if all you're gonna get out of it is the gameplay, I think there are way better games out there.
Yeah, the game is not written for games. Like even though it's pretty limited anymore, War Machine is a better game per se.
I haven't played New War Machine. I wonder.
Torn
My
Nation-
problem with early War Machine back in the day, probably Mark II era, was that the game touted it was a game about big robots. That it was all about, you got to have, what was their tagline in the past? Heavy metal balls or something like that.
Balls
Okay.
of Steel.
But the reality is, it shouldn't have been called War Machine. It should have been called Run as many dinky little infantry with a mold line running right up the side of their fucking armor that can machine. That would have been more accurate. Like the robots were always inferior. They never found a way to make them balanced relative to the.
Like almost every game, like Games Workshop's, almost every Games Workshop game, Dreadnoughts, which are the coolest, are not usually the best model to field.
Known for being the strongest thing. And when they are the strongest thing, they're run in a way that is so antithetical to like a Dreadnought that it's not even cool anymore. like rifleman dreads.
Right. They're mobile weapon platforms.
Right. It's like, well, come on. That's not really the promise of a dreadnought, is it?
I'd rather have a tank if I was going to just have a mobile platform.
Mm-hmm.
It's lower, it's easy to manage, and from a realism perspective, it's easier to maintain. Trying to maintain joints and all the other things that dreadnoughts have is a lot harder maintenance wise.
That does play into the fluff though a lot.
Yeah.
Like dreadnoughts are really hard to manage, especially Primaris dreadnoughts. They
Mhm.
burn out the Space Marines in them super quick.
Mm.
It's interesting because they're running on all cylinders, kind of thing.
Mhm.
For anyone curious where I'm at, a little update. We're at 6:35, so 5 minutes in, and I have the purple of 5 Raveners done. And probably in like 10 minutes, I'll have the purple of all of them done. Then I'll do the brown, and then I will do the bases, and then I will dry brush it after it's fully dry. And I'll have a nice looking Behemoth. Or no, this is Leviathan. No, what's purple and brown? The Legion. It was the popular one when he started in 5th edition.
I never read the Tyranid stuff.
You know, it's funny. This is the second Tyranid army I've painted, but I have never played Tyranids once. I painted Brad's army, and now I'm painting this army.
Gene Stealer cult. That I can handle. No.
I would love to do a Gene Stealer cult that's like a bunch of people who view themselves as like freedom fighters.
Mhm.
You know, like that they're fighting for like freedom and like democracy and like stuff like that. I think it would be fun.
Mhm. Yeah, they can delude themselves.
Well, and I could do like technicals with like the guns in the back. It'd be
Okay.
cool. You know.
So Adepticon, one of the we took like 12 hours of classes, and
Wow.
2 of the classes we took were actually we did 16 hours of classes. Yeah, because we did 4 hours with Sergio Calvo.
Damn.
If you want to relax in the morning, but he runs the cult of the cylinder, is what he calls it.
What's the cylinder?
The cylinder is how you do your lighting.
Ah.
Everything goes towards the middle, so you're focusing everything towards the middle and towards the face. So all your NMM highlights are always towards the middle instead of the edge, so they're always facing the middle of the model, no matter where they are. It's very good class, very good on. He gave a good rule for non-metallic metal, which is all the rest of your stuff has 3 highlights, and non-metallic metal has 5 highlights.
Interesting.
And so that's how you basically set up your models. But yeah, it was a really good class. But the 2 classes we took was first day was non-metallic metals using oil. It was like easy mode for oil non-metallic metals.
Really?
Absolutely, because
of the longer drying time.
So the big things that it's Lucas Zaba, who actually won Golden Demon gold for Old World, using only oils, which was really a surprise because GW doesn't usually do a good job of, like, if they can tell they're not their paints, they sometimes will. And
that sounds like GW.
And so it was kind of surprising that he won, because a lot of people didn't think oil paints could win effectively. But the thing is the active level. But his real big thing is how you do it. Like it's about the process more than anything else. In that you lay down, and I had to order them special. These paints from Spain that are historical war game paints, but he said they're the only true matte paints that exist for this purpose, and they set up like a sponge, and that's the key with oil painting, is that you have to have that sponge base to kind of eat up and suck up the fill itself up with the oil, the base layer that you put on.
Okay.
You like slop on the base layer after you paint the whole area that you want to paint with the colors, and you paint in color. So like if you're painting non-metallic metal, you paint like a blue gray is the water-based paint, and then you paint the oil paint over it. And in the process of doing that, you slop it on there. It's like mud.
You mud it up.
You let it sit for like 20 minutes. And then after that, you use a brush and you remove most of it. And you use thinning. You use 99% alcohol. You don't use oil like spirits, mineral spirits. And the reason is that that dries almost instantly.
Okay.
So when you're washing your brush and stuff, there's nothing left of what you need. Like there's no mineral spirits on your brush or anything. The brush becomes completely dry. That's for cleaning your brushes. Then the oil stays active for about 10 hours. And then you start laying in your highlights. And you do that by using 2 brushes. One brush to put it on, one brush to move it around and take it off. And blend the colors together.
That's interesting.
So you're slowly blending. If you blend too much or lighten it too much, take a little bit of a base coat and put it back down. And darken it up. And it just, you go back and forth until you get the color that you want or the desired, stuff that you need. And then you just keep going. And boy, getting the non-metallics to come out like perfect, because you have so much time. It's like, oh, let me try doing it. Put a little bit here, put a little bit here, put a little bit here. And, oh, that's too much. All right, take that back down. And you can just keep playing around with it. Like just moving it around like you're moving butter, right? And butter. And it's pretty amazing. And then after 2 or 3 days, it dries, and then you're good. And once it's fully dry, it never reactivates, so you don't have to worry about that.
So your blend will never be ruined.
And then the next night, we did another class, which was how to do textures. And in that same procedure, and he's tried every paint in every paint line.
Okay.
And it's this only paint. It's Andreas Paints from Spain. Never heard of them until I talked to him. I had to really dig deep to find them in America. Nobody carries them in America, pretty much.
Yeah.
But plan is when I start my Gargant army.
You know what you gotta do, Rich?
What's that?
Yeah, I can make sure ACD carries them.
Yeah. It's gonna be it's pretty cool. I'm waiting to do my Gargants with them. I'm looking for doing Gargants. But yeah, it's a pretty neat technique. He did his whole army, or the model that he won Golden Demon with it. With oils. It was a Bretonnian Knight. It was amazing. And his stone was just, that's what he taught us the second night. And in that, it's a lot of stippling and using a really shitty, crappy brush. I mean, that's the nice thing, is you don't need any good brushes to do oil painting.
It's funny.
Like, you don't have to spend hardly any money on, you spend the money on the oil paints. He was telling us he has like $200-300 paints that he uses. Because the only way to get those pigments and stuff. One of the interesting things between him, and we also went to Marco Frazzoni's class on color theory.
Yeah.
One of the things that's happening because of Verco's Vault is a lot of artists are now thinking about, well, what's my miniature going to look like 100 years from now?
Oh, in terms of like varnishing and stuff?
Varnishing, the paint, is it going to retain its colors? And what a lot of people are now moving towards is classic art paints. So high body acrylics, oils, but not like and the whole idea of it is that these are paints that have been used for 1,000 years to paint. You can go into a museum and you can see what these paints look like after 1,000 years. Um, Army painter paints. You have no idea. You have no idea what's going on.
Yeah. Hey,
Right.
maybe they're great.
You don't know in 20 years what it's going to be like, right?
Oh yeah. Have you ever read Kurt Vonnegut's book Bluebeard?
No, I haven't.
He's a modern artist who is trained by like a bitter classical artist, kind of like a Thomas Kincaid character.
Mhm.
And here's all the purple done, by the way, in case people are curious. But anyway, he paints a bunch of modern art paintings using this newfangled paint, and then it just falls apart after 10 years. So his massive collection of supposedly valuable art basically withers to nothing, like the fall of the House of Usher.
Mm.
So
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting thing that was never a discussion in miniatures communities. That well, what will my miniature look like in a year from now, or 10 years from now, or and so people are starting to think about that.
yeah, it's an interesting idea. Me, I mostly do like a really, strong primer. And then varnish. But who knows how long that'll really last? It might only last 5
People do
years.
not varnish. That's one of the things I've learned from a lot of painters. Nobody varnishes.
Really?
Because a varnish, it can yellow.
People play with their miniatures, do that.
Well, people play with their miniatures. The problem is varnish will degrade your value because it yellows over time.
Mm.
And so your miniature will change color because of the varnish, even if you use good paints. It'll
Hmm.
still, as long as your primer is solid, which that's more important than the varnish. It's your primer that's usually the problem of why paint comes off.
Waiting for the stuff to dry a little bit. I'm going to flip over to you. Dusty said he's going to join us in a little bit.
Okay, cool.
Zebra. Yeah, I got to know the name of this game. All right. What is it called? One more time, Rich.
Guards of Traitors Toll.
Guards of Traitors Toll. Thank you. And
boxes. It's not easy to find. This is one of the boxes here. It's this kind of design.
Looks like you're raving at your location. Like, you should all be dancing a little bit.
It's such a bright reflection.
Shines like a star.
And that's these are the models.
They look great though. Ooh, that knight in the middle row on the left looks so classic. I can't stand it.
Yeah.
By the way, have you watched Knight of the Seven Kingdoms?
Yes, I actually just finished it yesterday.
Okay, I'm only on episode 2.
It was it made me want to remember for the first time Game of Thrones and how good it could have been.
Ugh. You know what's my biggest problem with the Game of Thrones ending? And I know there's a lot of problems. Did you ever think that the only problem of winter coming was that zombies would attack?
Right.
I always got the impression that the danger of winter is that it was the season of winter for decades.
Yep. And apparently you kill all the zombies and it's over.
But that wasn't the impression I got.
Right. When winter's coming, it's like an ice age.
Yeah, they keep making these remarks that the children of summer, because they've only ever lived in good times, are like soft and they don't know how long the winters can last. Yeah. But then in the end,
it was like a year at the most. If you
it's like I thought the whole idea was it was going to be winter forever, or for a very long time.
Well, maybe if you kill the king of winter, it ends the winter.
I never really got. You know what's the problem with doing an all-knowing, all-seeing bad guy threat that's a hive mind? It can only ever be defeated in a stupid magic button way.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just one of those things where it's like, if you set up the plot that your villain is like a self-replicating thing or something to that effect, well, then it can never have an ending other than we hit a magic button and it turns them all off.
Use water.
Signs or whatever. Yeah.
Water. Allergic to water. That's it. That's how we solve the problem. Who knew? Yeah, Darts has a lot of expansions. I did order a bunch of little ones from the UK because they weren't available in the US, and they came pretty quick, I would say. They were mostly the small, like resin miniatures that they don't have in the US. There's a really good company called Battle Systems that if you don't want to 3D print a town, they make really nice looking cardboard towns. They're on Amazon, so you can get the town you need, because having a cool town for your guards to wander around. I got to print out some market stalls and all that stuff so you can have, street urchins trying to steal from the people amongst the market stalls, as you do in a town like this. Very, like Oliver Twist. I feel medieval Oliver Twist.
I do have a hot take about signs, though, and the water ending. You ready for it?
Sure.
I think it makes sense. You know why?
Wow.
I don't think the aliens and signs are invading. I think that if this were an invasion, I think we would expect to see air support. I think we would expect to see tanks. I think we would expect to see the aliens wearing some sort of equipment or wielding weaponry, like guns or things like that. They seem vulnerable. Like, they don't have natural body armor. They seem vulnerable to bullets, and they don't seem to have any other inbuilt weapons other than their claws and a close range spray that only seems to work on asphyxiating young girls with asthma. So what I think is actually happening is these aliens are allergic to water. Maybe they're silicone-based life forms, and that would explain it. And they have some sort of allergic or some sort of reaction, almost like we would to, certain types of silicate, right? And so they found this planet, and yeah, it was inhabited, but they're like, some hairless monkeys, who cares? And they're like, this will be our Australia. We'll load up all our criminals, and we'll dump them on Waterworld, where they will surely perish because the whole planet is toxic to them. That's also why I think the invasion wraps up, because it wasn't an invasion. Those signs the aliens were leaving were probably like signs that you can read from space in a certain way that say shit like designated prison planet, do not pick up hitchhikers. Like, that's probably what the sign said. You know what I mean?
That's pretty good, but I don't think M. Night Shyamalan thought that much into it.
I don't know. It is interesting that the aliens don't have any equipment of any kind.
Maybe they couldn't afford the special effects.
Yeah, they could get the alien costume, but not alien armor.
Oh no, the special effects when they shoot their gun and the lasers come out.
Oh, gotcha. And they needed to have the fight conclude with them being beaten by a baseball bat.
Yeah, because you just need a baseball bat. That's it. But beat aliens.
They traverse the Oort cloud, which will take Voyager 30,000 years, and yet they don't have the technology to overcome a human baseball bat. That is true. Which is why I think they're just prisoners dumped on the planet, naked and afraid.
Well, I mean, I guess if you're aliens and you don't have baseball, you wouldn't need a defense against baseball bat.
That is true, Rich. And how many intelligent? Yeah, but what if it's one of the hard steps?
They're like really intelligent alien, and we might alienate some of our things.
What if it doesn't parallel evolution?
They're not going to play baseball because who wants a game that can last literally forever?
Well, hear me out. Parallel evolution states similar organisms develop likewise in other places, like how there's flying squirrels in Australia and America that have never interacted, and one's a marsupial and one's a mammal. What if,
Watched Ice Age. That's because of global drift.
what if though, all aliens develop baseball, some rudimentary version of it, and all aliens hate it too? You ever thought about that?
They might be like the British and invent cricket, which then that way nobody else knows how they play.
I'll count that as baseball-ish.
It's not baseball.
I'll count.
It's to baseball.
I'll count it. Right now,
Most I would think most aliens would develop something like soccer, because the idea of like cutting your enemy's head off and then tossing it around and kicking it, that seems like something that would happen.
it is pretty cool. Contrast paints are so great, Rich.
Yeah, they're pretty good. They've really set the bar.
Just in terms of just getting an army done, it's the easiest way to do it now. If you just need to get somebody tabletop ready,
would get real paint pots.
yeah, that would be nice of them. I think they do it specifically because it makes their paint dry out.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. I actually heard from somebody, like that worked there and knew it was because new painters don't have palettes and don't have this, don't have that. They can just open it up and start painting. Like we did when we got, say, the original like Testors oil paints. You just open the jar and you start painting out of it, and that's why they.
Okay, GW, I'll accept that answer. I'll accept it this one time.
If they would smart, they would develop a Master Series line. That is for the players who want to, graduate to the next level. And then that would be real paint pots.
Yeah, that works. I think that's a good idea, actually.
So the plan is once I get done these Traitors Told, then I'm going to start working on my Giants, and that's where I'm going to do all oil. I think they'll look really good with oil. I'm waiting for some AK oil paints, skin paints, to use to start that project.
Cool.
If you're painting Gargants, you need lots of skin tones.
Gargants are giants in the Sigmar setting. Yo, what's going on with Sigmar? Do you know they're resetting the setting?
No, nothing. 40K's reset this time.
No, I heard Age of Sigmar is getting a whole new storyline.
I don't know. They didn't say anything at.
They're decentering storylines of relationship to like the gods of the setting, as I understand it, which I think is a good idea. They are.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really follow Age of Sigmar's story too much. I don't play it that often. So. But I got a Gargant army for Christmas, and one of the cool things about it is Emil at we got to paint with Lucas from Squidmar.
I don't watch Squidmar.
Squidmar's entertaining. It's entertainment. It's the only one that's really like just an entertainment channel. You don't really learn much about painting, but Lucas is cool. Yeah, cool. But what the story about Lucas is Lucas won a golden demon. He won a gold, and he won a silver at there. So 3 of the 4 classes we took were taught by people who won golden demons.
Must be very lucrative right now to win golden demon.
Yeah, I mean it means your stream will go up. If you're streaming and your commission painting will go up, and Gary will buy your miniature. But the guys from Verko's Vault, because we were there the week before at Verko's before Golden Demon, and they were trying to find people who were there to carry miniatures back from Golden, from Adepticon that they were buying for the museum.
Oh wow!
People to carry like the cases that they had made.
Yeah.
But
many minis.
Yeah. They but yeah, Lucas they were teaching us how to paint skin tone, And we're painting and we're painting and we're following his directions, and everybody's like going asking him for directions. And he's like, "Oh, you did this wrong. You did this wrong. You did this wrong." You know, to giving him good feedback. I handed him mine, and he looked at it, and he looked at it, and he looked at it, and he handed it back to me.
Yeah.
and what our impression was is it was so good that he was a little upset, like that it was too good. So I gotta say it was pretty good. It was not I did a pretty good job of it. But
Did you send me any pictures of this one?
I actually haven't. This was 2 hours of painting.
Damn, dude. You did a really good job.
Yeah.
I nailed
The
it.
eyes, you can't really.
Wow.
The eyes actually have like texturing in them and stuff.
Do you find it's a different experience painting just like a giant head?
Yes, it's very cool. Very cool. Much cooler than painting miniatures. You have space, you got blending, you got shading. But yeah, this was pretty fun.
It's cool. I think the key with these guys, these nids I'm working on, really solid dry brush after everything's fully cured. You know?
You should plan to go to Adepticon next year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you're into miniatures and miniatures tournaments. And there's only one that's worth, or LVO. LVO starts April 22nd is signups.
Oh, my birthday.
I guess. Well, that's the signups. It's actually in October, first weekend in October. It's in Las Vegas, so you can drive there.
Oh, Vegas. Is it on the strip?
No, it's actually near there's a new area that's like the trade center.
Let me clarify to Vegas people. I love Vegas. I went to a great pizza shop in Vegas, but I hate the strip. I really hate the strip.
Yeah, that's nowhere near the strip. It's actually its own little
Sick.
section. Near Old Vegas, Fremont Street is the Old Vegas.
Gangster Vegas.
You can walk there. You can walk to Old Vegas from there. But yeah, it's great, and they have painting classes. We just saw the list of who's coming for what they call the Master Series, which is 3 days of 8 hours of painting.
Okay.
And they're all top painters. The one we're probably going to do is Young Pop. I don't know what his name is, but he does oil painting. He's one of the guys that paints with Lucas Saba.
Oh, cool.
Us. And yeah, I'm really interested in learning oils because I got to say, we just painted a spear, but it's very relaxing. Like, it's just play around, keep experimenting. You don't like it, you undo it. You don't have to repaint it because you have hours and hours to paint.
Interesting. Okay, whole different vibe.
Yeah, so it's just, I mean, it doesn't take you hours, but if you need hours, you can. There's no
rush.
Yeah. And you can use stippling, you can use different techniques to create different textures on the models. It's pretty awesome. And the effects you can get are so much more like depth to the miniature and everything. And if you want a little more depth, you add a little bit more. And like when you want to highlight, say, like one guy showed us before he was working on a miniature for like, I think it was like He-Man, basically. And so he was painting the leg with the muscles on the leg, and he wanted to add a little highlight. So he just takes a little bit of yellow, puts like dot, just taps it, and then uses the second brush to kind of blend it all back, and you get this smooth, like ultra smooth blend of colors. That you don't have to do any shading, any glazing, nothing. Just that's it.
This stream brought to you by Big Oil Paints.
That's right. Yeah, but oil paints are not going up because of the current. It's linseed oil. It's not oil from the Gulf. But yeah, actually, the guys at Verco's are actually developing their own line of miniatures oils.
Oh yeah.
What they're doing, one of the big things is, because like you buy a tube of oil paint, right?
Okay.
You will pass it down to your like great grandson. Like literally, that's the thing. Like you might, like he said, he spent $700 on a tube of oil paint, but that'll be a generational item that'll say, if his kids get into it, they'll be able to paint with his oil paints that he spent $700 on.
It's funny.
What we were using, he didn't have any he bought some alcohol at the local like pharmacy for the work, and didn't realize that the alcohol here is like nothing, like it's not real alcohol, like it's like I don't know, like 60% alcohol or something, where apparently in Europe it's all like 90% or above. And so it wasn't working. So then somebody said, oh, well, here's what I use, and pulled out lighter fluid. And so we're using lighter fluid to clean our brushes. And he's like, yeah, this probably isn't good for you. But he's like, but if I die early, the value of my paintings goes up. So it's okay.
No.
So
what a crazy thing to say.
If artists live forever, their value of their paint line doesn't go up. So it's okay if I die.
Yeah.
You definitely don't want to lick the brush when you're using that stuff.
Oh, it's good.
Sergio Calvo was funny. He's like, all right, here's some of the rules. You cannot lick your brush in my class. If you do, I will make fun of you. His big thing is to use a wet paper towel.
Okay.
And that's what you put your brush on. And you get the bristles nice and tidy and stuff using that. You don't use your lips.
That's
somebody do it. I actually, the whole class, I didn't use it. I didn't lick my brush.
Don't act like you didn't start doing it.
I wanted to, but I kind of forced myself, and then throughout the whole weekend, I actually I stopped doing it for that short period of time. I still do it now, but I don't do it as often as I used to. I actually have my wet paper towel right here that I put on my brush.
So for anyone watching, by the way, who's like, wow, you're getting way too much brown onto the other parts, considering I'm going to do a dry brush and then a final pass of like a fun little highlight on the carapace, the neatness at this stage matters so little, in my opinion. Just for anyone watching who's like, well, but you're getting it on the purple. It's like, if that won't really matter after I've highlighted the purple, Just for anyone watching, when you're just blocking out the colors in the beginning, it's very fine to just over splash just a little bit, because if you're planning on doing like speed painting techniques, all that's going to get cleaned up in the dry brush and, highlighting step anyway, Just hitting paint on marks. But yeah, back to my original point. I think that if you're not going to have fun just painting a model, you're going to be really disappointed when, this is the natural cycle of a model in 40K. It comes out. It's OP. It breaks the format. GW bans it in some manner that is like a soft ban. It's not a real ban. You can still play it, but now it costs like 300 points and no one would ever play it, right? So if all you get into 40K for is to sign up for that treadmill of 40K balance adjustments, I think you're going to be really disappointed with your like $100 purchase of Mortarian. But if you bought Mortarion because you wanted to paint a really sick model, I think the value is there. You know? That's all.
That's the reality. I mean, people say, "Oh, GW is so expensive," right? But if you're painting miniatures, you're getting hours and hours and hours of entertainment for that price.
Yeah, compared to any other form of light entertainment, you know?
Yeah. Well, I used to say that like people would get upset about the legacy games, board games. You know, like, oh, but it's I'm gonna ruin it. You're like, yeah, except that a legacy board game cost you less than a 2-hour movie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because they
You're
want
gonna
to
play it 13 times, which means you're gonna have at least 13 hours of entertainment for that $75 that you're, paying.
Well, and what I think is absolutely ridiculous is like, first of all, I have never met a board game player who plays their games. First of all, so it's
Plays
not,
it 13 times at least.
yeah, at least 13 times. They play it 3 or 4 times, okay, and then it sits on a shelf. But like, yeah,
Cons and the Carcassones and stuff, then you might actually play it more.
sure, those are the ones that everybody grabs every time. I mean, I never played Carcassonne anymore. I refuse. At a work function, we were playing Carcassonne. I was like, no.
Carcassone's great.
I cannot stand Carcassonne.
Oh, great game.
You know, game I like better than Carcassonne for that type of game. 7 Wonders.
7 Wonders is good too.
It's just like that. It ends. That's my preference.
Carcassonne ends too. You just don't add all the experience.
Oh, you're saying Carcassonne?
Yeah.
Yes, I love Carcassonne, Rich. I'm sorry. I love Carcassonne. I thought you were saying Catan.
Oh, no. Catan is one of the games that people play a lot, but yeah, Catan is like
Carcassonne, rad game, because you know what Carcassonne does? It ends.
Yeah.
You
That was
know,
always the problem with Munchkin. They actually, I was talking to John Kovalik. He's one of my clients,
okay.
and they got the new Munchkin coming this summer, and it actually ends.
Wow, that's great. I'm so glad.
New edition.
That's amazing. Also, basing your game around rolling a d20, rough.
Yeah.
D20 sucks. It's the worst die.
Well, unless you have like a lot of the ones that are good are like the Conan game, Conan RPG.
Okay.
20, so you're getting like an average rather than you're not getting the just complete random 20.
Just to show what I've accomplished, by the way, these are technically battle ready, every single one. Now, I'm obviously going to do a lot more because I can really dial these in just with some simple techniques. But contrast paint, if you're the type of person who looks at Rich's painting and says, but that's so much, you don't have to start there. You can start here and you'll learn basic brush control and stuff like that.
I don't know what you're talking about, because I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guards done with my technique. Well, not done, but if I hit these with an oil wash, they'll be done.
Don't let Rich trick you. He has 30 years of experience in brush control. That is why he is quick. Don't let him deceive you. Don't let him pull the wool over your eyes like when people post my first Space Marine and it looks like it was painted by fucking Michelangelo. Yeah, I'm gonna flip it back to you, Rich. Speaking of it, because I gotta wait for paint to dry. My favorite part of painting.
Hair dryer, Robbie. Hair dryer.
Don't you feel like it makes it dry weird?
No, you make sure it's cold. That's the key. It's not warm air. You don't want to use it on warm or any.
No, I don't want to use it on cold.
It just be cold air. Doesn't really make it dry. Trust me, I know. I've watched and know a lot of painters and a lot of people. We're doing another Verco's Vault in what's that at? It's gonna be in June.
You know, it's gonna be a funny thing he's gonna be able to do eventually.
What's that?
Play a game of 40K with all Golden Demon winners.
Yeah, Kaha. We went to Kaha's class the week before Adepticon,
Okay.
and she won a gold and a silver. So all our recent people we went to and taken classes from have all won golden demons. So
What a education you're receiving. It's so cool. Think about that. We live in a time period where if you want to meet the Michelangelo of your hobby, it's like a plane ticket and a convention ticket away. You know what I mean? Cool.
yeah, I got to do Marco's basically color theory class, which was really cool. He pointed, he said you only need 6 paints, so, and laid out the 6 paints that you need. And I have been doing, because I'm working with the guys from Mindwork Studios. They make heavy body acrylics.
Okay.
So for the past few weeks, I've been painting some miniatures with them. Boy,
Okay.
again, like I put out those heavy body acrylics on my palette, and on Friday, I'm still painting with the same paints. Like they're still active and still able to be used. But what I learned, because there are a limited number of colors, is how to take 6 colors and turn it into every color I need, and get away from these formulaic recipe style painting. So the leather on this guy looks different than the leather on that guy because I mixed the colors to make that leather color. And I added a little more yellow here, or a little bit more ochre here, or something that changed it just slightly. So each one is alive and different. It's not just the same paint out of the same pot. It's every time it was a different blend of colors. Like the skin tones were 100 different, shades of skin tone, because when I painted these guys, it was, I added a little bit of magenta to it instead of just the yellow and the brown that I started with, and then I added a little white which desaturated it a little bit. You can, add a little black, which desaturates it. And so by mixing colors, but you can't do that with army painter colors and stuff because they're not pure pigments.
So can I started doing this, but maybe I'm doing it wrong. I'm using Pro-Acryl. They're red, blue, green. Are you saying I can't use those for this purpose?
They're not pure. They're not pure pigments.
Really?
They're mixed. Yeah.
That's why it's not working out the way I feel like
they become because as you cross the center of the color wheel, you go towards brown or gray. And so what's happening is when because if you mix 3 colors, you get gray, right? So if you mix three complementary colors, that comes into gray. If you mix 2 colors, you get so if you want a shadow red, add green to it. If you want a shadow blue, add purple to it, right? And so you look on your color wheel, and it's basically the opposite color on the other side is the shadow.
Oh, so I'm getting out my color.
So look at your color wheel, and if you want to shadow a color, so underpainting especially is where this matters. So like yellow, you want magenta under yellow to get a shadow for yellow.
I swear I have a color. I also have these. I don't know if these are still good.
What are they? I can't see it.
Winsor Newton,
Oh, yeah.
Winston oil color, burnt umber, and ivory black series.
Your like 4 generations from now, we'll be able to paint with those oil paints.
You and I painted like 800 models with Moon last time, and there's still like so much in here.
That's what I'm telling you. You're like 4 generations from now, somebody will be in your family will be using those.
Well, Rich, you know what?
How many more generations we'll get out of these, because I haven't even creased them yet.
What do you think if I were to do an army only with oil paints?
Well, again, you got to get these. The key with oil is you have to have the base. And that base is this. Andreas, he tried every other paint, every matte paint that exists. he's been doing this for 12 years. And these Andreas paints, I know Noble Knight has some still.
Okay.
That was the only place I could find them. And you just put them on nice even coats, maybe 2 coats of them. That's your base. Once you create the base, and it's basically a sponge to then take your
I'll
next
spell the name. I'm on Noble Knight right now.
Andreas, Andreas. And you want the matte colors. That's all you need.
Could it be just Andrea? No S?
Andrea? Yes, might be Andrea.
Andrea blue here.
Yep, Prussian blue is a good one. That's a good for your metal. That's when we did the metal paints. Hey man, where's our swords, our spears?
Because I'd love to learn to paint with a new style. Why not?
Yeah.
Sounds fun.
So let me show you these. These are what we did with him. And this was just our first time doing. So this was the stone textures.
Oh, it's great. Wow.
This was just black and just using stippling to create.
Looks good.
Right? The key is you're using 2 brushes though, Robbie. So one brush is a clean, dry brush. The other one is the one you're putting the paint on with.
Okay.
And you want shitty brushes. You don't want like new brushes. And you want brushes that, like for the stippling, you want brushes that are kind of splayed out, but tight enough that they're not all over the place. But then this is the real one. This is the non-metallic metal.
Oh, shit. How'd you do that?
This was, so you start.
Oh, they both look so good though.
Right? This was our first attempt at oil.
Stop it.
So you,
dude, these are like Golden Demon.
Almost black, right? Almost black model or paint here.
Okay.
And then it's like I think it was black or pretty close to black. And then you would just take the white and yellow colors. We had 2 colors. That's all we used. And you would just put in a little dots of where you wanted to change color. And then you use the dry, clean brush to then move that paint around and blend it. And you're moving it towards where you want the light. So if it's a light color, you're just moving it towards where you want the light.
Everything moves towards the center of the cylinder.
And you're just pushing it around like I said, like butter on a piece of toast, like on a warm piece of toast. You're just moving it around and kind of, if you get too much in an area and it's too bright, then you take a little bit of black and you dip a little bit of black in there, and then you do it again, and you keep going back and forth working it. To do these edge highlights was just literally taking the tip of the brush and just stippling it, then use the other brush to kind of blend the edges, so if it was off center a little bit or something, you could make it center again. You can bring the paint right back to the center where the line is.
That's very cool.
So it's, and this was my attempt at non-metallic, like bronze here along the he didn't teach us that, but then we stippled in a little brown here to reflect the ground. We stippled a little blue into the top here to reflect the sky. And if it didn't look good, you just went back, added a little more black at the base coat, and stippled that, and then spread that around a little bit more to kind of make it darker.
Do you think now that one has one Golden Demon, the future of Golden Demon is oils?
Maybe. It's not easy though. Like, unless you've taken his class, you will probably fail most of the time, because that sponge that you have to set up makes a big difference in the drying time and the ability to work it. And if you don't do that, so what you're doing is you're creating your palette. Your palette is your miniature. That's what his principle is. So I'm not using a palette at all. Like, I'm just have a place to put my paint, but I'm not mixing any paints on the palette. All my mixing is being done on the models. And I'm adding some paint to the model and then moving it around, and adding some paint to the model and then moving it around.
I know nobody watches this stream, but we've reached a point where if they did, they genuinely would learn something.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
they would. This is, I mean, with me taking the classes, everybody's getting some side benefit, that of me spending the money.
Sub-material squirrel. Great. Show off those spears you just painted the material squirrel.
Oh, yeah. So this is
Hey, Carly. Tell Max I said hey.
using
Look at
oil.
these material squirrel. Look at this.
These are oil. This is the first attempt at using oil paints to create non-metallic metal.
Those
And
blow
this
me
is
away, dude.
Whoa.
Stone
Using oils. This is the first time I ever used oils.
It blows me away how good it looks.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, maybe next week I'll get a giant together and start playing with it.
Yeah, I'd love to see it paint with
I
oil.
only have artist level paints, and there is no like flesh tone, so I can make a flesh tone, but it's like doing it across that many giants is just a lot of mixing. I'd rather have some base, where I can just put the base oils down. But I'll do it. I'll do it next week. Next week I'll put one of my Gargants together and start painting them.
Hell yeah. Dude, that oil painting looked really good. I'm going to flip it over to my Raveners just to show what I got going on here. So if Dusty were here, he could see that I have the base colors and the base painting done on 15 Raveners. Obviously, Dusty is painting his Ravener to a high level. So I'm not kidding. But next step, once these are fully dry, because if you are going to dry brush your acrylics, the acrylics need to not only be dry, they need to be literally cured. And the only way I've ever found to tell if a model's paint is cured, Rich, what's your method? I bet it's the same. I can smell it. Uncured paint smells different. You know what I mean?
It depends on the paint, though, too.
That's true. Generally, pro acryls, contrast paints, they have a very different smell when they're painted.
My paint is usually so thin it's dry before I take my brush off.
Well, what do you thin your paints or something like you're supposed to?
Yep.
Wow. Next you're telling me that you'll apply the coat, let it fully dry, and then apply it some more.
I gotta say, if you're painting in acrylics, the most important step, and it's a step that you hear in every single video, they talk about this step. But for many years, I ignored that video.
I'm flipping it to you 1 second. All right, you're back on.
The step is your base coat has to be solid. And if you do it, it comes out, your paints become smooth, your additional layers are smoother. If you don't make that first one solid, so 2-3 coats, like Duncan Rhodes talks about, you will end up always struggling.
Move your mic a little more towards the center of the screen.
You always struggle with those paints coming out solid. And when I started changing up that and trying to really lean into making sure my base coats were a solid color, it was really easy. And then I just used glazes and that stuff and very thin highlights, and I don't have to do much work. It's actually speed painting in a different way.
Yeah, it's funny when you paint with thin layers and stuff like that. It's actually quicker than the way a lot of people
paint leaves the brush. The other mistake, and I'm just saying what mistakes I made, is I always use too small of a brush. Now, I'm using an O, but that's on these miniatures. But when I did all these base coats, it was a 2.
I'm using a 6.
Wow, that's a little too big.
In my opinion, though, it has if you buy a nice 6, it can do almost everything. I do eyes with a 6 because the point is really sharp.
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen these brushes. These are from Chimera Paints. And you see how they're different than most brushes? They actually have a side profile that's thinner.
Yeah, so you can do they're
like an arrowhead. So the tip stays very much towards the middle.
Gotcha.
Without a lot of extra work.
I'm using a Winsor Newton sable brush.
Yeah, Winsor Newton is the best out there. Though these Chimera, I guess, I paid $150 for the set of 6. And these are, I really like them.
I didn't want to say anything until it was over, Rich, but for about 20 minutes there when you were explaining the stone and metal, we were at 6 viewers.
Wow.
Yeah. I think it's because they saw the thumbnail of those pieces.
Uh-huh.
Bumped us up. Thanks for watching, Zebra. See you, man.
No, I'll do oil next week. You'll see. If I bring out a Gargant and start doing the skin tones using oils, it'll be. I'll prep everything ahead of time so I have it. Oh, next Sunday. Yeah, next Sunday I'll be traveling. I'll be here, but I won't be doing it. I'm not taking oils with me on.
Makes sense.
I'll just probably be working on Traitors Toll, or maybe if I can get the guys to get an agreement together on the new miniatures game I'll be selling. We're probably working with Mineworks. They're doing a game called Paradise.
Okay.
And it's like post-apocalyptic. Marco has actually painted some of the miniatures on stream. But they're probably 42 millimeter is the scale.
Interesting.
A little bit more art level to them. But you're like Mad Max kind of style miniatures.
So very like tank girl aesthetic type of stuff.
Yeah. I'm doing the one thing I haven't done for a long time. Paint metallic metals.
Ooh.
I haven't used metallic metals for a long time. See, according to what a lot of people say is if you've been painting non-metallics for a while, your metallics should get better.
Okay. You level up in some way.
Well, because you're working with light, and as long as you apply the same ideas of light that you used on the non-metallic metals, you'll get a much more realistic looking scale metal, even if you're using regular metallics. The nice thing about regular metallics, though, is you get the sheen in every direction, which is the one downside of non-metallics. You can, like when you're looking at it, the non-metallic might not be the right direction of the viewer, and therefore it doesn't have the same effect. With metallic metal. These Vallejo, I like these Vallejo, like alcohol based, I think. Airbrush colors, metal color.
Is that the chrome?
No, this one is steel, but
steel. I hear aluminum by them is really good.
Yeah, if you want to do speed painting, what Marco does is he uses the aluminum.
And does he make gold out of it?
He just adds Nozdreg yellow to it, and it makes
it looks so freaking good.
Yeah.
It's so incredibly good. If you want to, viewers, if you want an army for 40K that'll look amazing and you're a brand new painter, buy the new Custodes, the brand new ones that just came out, by 2 battle groups, and that'll be your whole army. I'm not kidding. You'll spend $500, and that's 2,000 points of Custodes. You'll take 2 Caladius battle tanks, and then you will just spam squads of 4 with sword and board. Okay? Then you prime them black, hit them with that aluminum, and then do that yellow trick. They look so good. And you're done. And then all you have to do is like paint their guns black or something.
I want to try it. I picked up some alcohol paints. And
Okay.
I was watching one of the Mythbusters. What is it, Adam Savage?
Okay.
And he was painting props for the movies.
Okay.
It's alcohol paints to paint. They're very thin. They dry fairly quickly, but you can reactivate them with alcohol.
Okay.
So if you want to...
Now, you do lick your paintbrush when you're painting with these, right?
Of course, because then you get drunk on this side.
Yeah. That's it.
And blind. So eventually...
And blind.
You'll be the
then your painting will achieve a truly zen quality.
Yeah. But the main thing they use them for is like a wash. And it's pretty, like, because the nice thing is they clean all, they clean with the alcohol. So you just put some alcohol in a cotton swab and you can reduce the wash if it's too thick or what have you. But I'm going to try them. It's used probably on larger scale, probably on like bust or something.
Yeah, but it's fun to try things.
Yeah.
H.P. Lovecraft has this quote at the beginning of, I think, The Call of Cthulhu, where it says that someday man's narrow understanding of things will overlap to such a degree that they will uncover horrifying things. But what I will say is the more that I've learned about woodworking and the more that I've learned about miniature painting makes me better at the other one. Because, like, I don't know, like, there's this saying in woodworking, stain and paint make me the carpenter I ain't. And I'm a lot better painter than carpenters are. You know what I mean? I can even do stuff like a carpenter will have to do all these complicated things to get like this like rustic look. And I will literally dry brush wood to achieve a look. And it looks really good. Or I'll like paint like the underside a slightly different shade. So it implies like more depth to it and makes it look fancier. It's just funny how you can combine skills. So, prop development, mixing with mini painting. Be cool.
Yeah, I'm just painting a 3D mini. But let's see if Min has it here. I wanted to show you.
Yeah, let's see what you got.
Hey Min, where's the guy I printed for you? Oh, I see him. Never mind. So, remember I was telling you I was making miniatures for my D&D campaign.
Sure.
And there's a little bit of a spoiler here, but if you're playing the Ghost of Saltmarsh at some point, this is one of the characters from it. So, and Min's in the process of painting him. But this was a 3D where I used the description in the book of the character, and they find him and he's hit on his head, and the 3D ChatGPT put the little bump on his head there in the picture. When I took it to a 3D sculpting software, it sculpted, of course, everything. This was all that was the front of him. And it put everything else in the back here on its own without any process. And then, of course, this guy was meant to be a 28 millimeter miniature. But Min wanted to paint the bust size of him. And now we have a 3-inch tall version of the character, but you can see the details. When this is finished, it'll be even more so. But this is a miniature that I made, basically, using words to sculpt it.
Well, something made it.
Yeah, but it was sculpted with words, not with any images or anything like that. I didn't use any images. I just used descriptions of the of what I wanted it to be. We have another one that Min's painting. That is, we were at a restaurant and they had this little like everything's better with wine kind of wall.
Sure, wine mom. What if the host pokey really?
But it had a cartoon guy that looked kind of like Wimpy from Popeye. And Min's like, "Oh, that would make a cool miniature." I'm like, "Well, take a picture of it." And then I came home.
Who's I don't know the Popeye lord.
He's the big round-headed guy with a big nose.
What is his name?
Wimpy.
Wimpy.
He wants a cheeseburger for. I'll gladly pay for your on Tuesday for a cheeseburger today. That's his famous thing.
J. Wellington Wimpley. Hold on.
Yes.
1 second.
So it looks like him. He's an Italian like waiter with some wine and standing next to a wine barrel, and that was the 2D picture that Min took the picture of. And then I used this Tripro program and said, "Hey, make this into a 3D miniature."
J. Wellington Wimpley.
Yeah, let me grab the miniature. She's working on it. Right
he says, hold on. I'll gladly pay you Tuesday. I'll have a hamburger. He says, I'll have a hamburger, for which I will gladly pay you Tuesday.
So here is the miniature.
Hold on. I'm going to make you the big screen again.
Nope.
Ah. Oh, wow. Well, there you go. You saw it here, folks. The mascot.
20 minutes it took me to make this.
There you go.
It's an amazing world. So if you want it, again, you can't do this and sell it because it's not your stuff. But if you're just making miniatures for your D&D game, they're right here.
There you go.
And you can make all your miniatures you need for your D&D games right from the adventure.
There you go. My adventures don't ever go like that. So are you telling me when you run D&D, Reg, the characters encounter the things that you intend them to.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Never in my 20 years.
And when they don't, they encounter something else. But generally, yeah, that we at some point they do.
There, boom, boom, boom.
Giving them plenty of clues so that they take the bait.
They bite the hook.
Yeah.
Just to show what I got going on here, so y'all can see it. There's already some cool like things happening. I tried to do it as quickly as possible so that the wet purple could mix with the wet brown. You know, because I'm not really worried with Tyranids of creating like super defined lines with them. I want the brown and the carapace to be split. I think that's an important division. But I don't know, like they're organic, so they can slowly change color over their modeled armor. You know what I mean? So just an update. I'm waiting for these. By the way, Dusty emailed us that he was going to be 5 minutes late. He's so far very late.
Maybe 5 minutes in different time.
Yeah, maybe in Cali it's a different.
They use a different time scale. Maybe
that's right. That's right. Or maybe he's moving faster than or relative to the speed of light. He's moving relative to it, and so thus to what him is a 15-minute journey. Planet of the Apes style will bring him back. He'll arrive thousands of years from now to learn.
He's already been here for the stream. We just didn't notice.
Oh, okay. Is that all it was? Do you remember the Onion News Network video? Ninja Parade passes by unnoticed for the 50th year in a row. And it's like people from far and wide would gather to not see the ninjas as they paraded through the town. Great. It's a great bit. Great gag. Yeah, I'm going to get all of these at least base coated. Here, I can actually show something. You keep painting. Can you move the model you're painting a little more to the center? But I think... Oh, you ever played Helldivers, Rich?
No, you told me about it.
You really... It's the closest thing to a 40K game. It's more of a 40K game than Space Marine is, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's what I've been hearing. I don't play any video games at all.
It's just a lot of fun. And you know what?
Any other reason then I am 3D miniatures painting. I'm painting miniatures. I'm working, running 2 D&D games. I just don't. That sounds like the most boring thing to do is play a video game.
Wow. It's a lot easier when you don't sleep, Rich.
Well, yeah. I do.
You're missing out on half the day, in my opinion. Here, I'm going to show you off. Check this out, guys. No, hold on.
The reason you don't sleep is because you play video games.
Maybe that is true. Well, I would never give it up, Rich.
Keeping your brain too active to then shut it down at night. He has a hot shower before bed. That's one of the ones that works really well.
It's also smart to just take a shower before going to bed because it stops you from tracking dust and particulates.
Yeah, but what it is your body reacts to temperature change. And so by heating your body up to that much, when you get out of the shower, your body cools very quickly.
Yeah.
And triggers the sleep reaction.
No, that's fun.
So
very sanitary. Just a sanitary thing to do.
I used to only do it in the morning and learned that it actually is pretty good for sleep. Superheating your body and then cooling it down quickly is the trick.
You know, I heard it's really good for you, and that's why they have it in like Norwegian and Nordic places. Saunas.
Yeah.
I hear like a sauna just before bed. Really fun. Although I will say this. Did I tell you about the mental acuity study I was told about recently?
No.
The best thing for maintaining mental acuity just by a study of blue zone Japanese people. So
you know the blue zones aren't real, right?
I know. They're more of a marketing gimmick than anything else.
What they found was it's just what the blue zones happen to be is places where people don't report their age correctly.
Well, there is a practice in Japan that may contribute to the abnormally long lifespans. Mm-hmm. Say you have a grandfather who's 70 years old. Well, in Japan, until the day he dies, he collects essentially a pension. And so, after he dies, if you simply do not report your
Yes. That is exactly why many of the blue zones have
But these were the people that they studied were elderly people who had mental acuity above the 75 age range, right? And the one common factor between all of them was handwriting something once a day. Just doing some handwriting. And I bet you could probably expand that. I bet it literally doesn't have to be handwriting, but I bet there is something to the using your hands to achieve something in your mind. So I wonder if painting miniatures would have a similar effect.
According to every study on Alzheimer's, it's one of the best. You know, it's one of the things that triggers Alzheimer's to not happen.
Yeah,
because your brain is constantly being used to do it, and it's just keeping your brain and your mind working. You know, because the thing is you got to realize is TV, video games. Your mind is less active when you're sleeping, or is less active than when you're sleeping. So
they're carrying a mental load. They're doing all the when they see a creature that you would read about in a book, instead of you spending this effort imagining what the creature or the character might look like, the TV does it for you.
Yep.
You know,
so you're not testing your brain. You're not doing anything to kind of, you know, and 2D images also are bad for your brain. So painting definitely hits all the notes of what would keep your brain working. Yeah. I also think with Japan, the one thing that really is impressive, like the one thing I noticed there, we were talking about this the other day, is how dedicated people are to their jobs there. And where I saw this was we were sitting in the airport waiting for something, and I watched this janitor. And this guy took almost 20 minutes to clean his dust mop in the trash can. Like, just, it was meticulous and it was time consuming, but that was a clean, like, but he wasn't rushed, and he took pride in cleaning his dust mop, which it's kind of something I've had a discussion about, is that there's a generational gap where people's jobs became their jobs and not what they did. And I don't know. I don't have any opinion on either side of it. But what that means is people are just doing their job to get through the day so they have their own time. And I think that's...
Dusty, you weren't kidding, man.
5 minutes. That's all.
You weren't kidding, Dusty. Oh, you can't hear us.
I made it. Here I am.
You weren't kidding when you said you were going to be a little late. Well, I want to show you what I did, Dusty, while you were away. Just because Rich has been doing some beautiful stuff, and you definitely got to check out his NMM at the end. But anyway, this is what I painted on stream today. I started with models. These are Raveners, by the way.
Yeah, I noticed. Wow. Look at you go.
So next up, I'm going to super dry brush them, and then I'm probably going to spend a lot of really dedicated time making the carapace really cool. And then
yeah, they look really good. Very nicely done.
Well, it's just, this is a joke. This is a speed paint. This is an army I'm doing.
Oh, I know. It still looks good.
Not even for me, you know what I mean? But Rich, show off the spear tips. You got to show them.
Oh, wait.
Let's show this up.
At Adepticon, we took an oil paints class. The first one was non-metallic metal.
Hold on. Rich, hold on. Hold them up slow.
Yeah, I'm just trying to. So
nice.
This is the first time I've done oil painting, and Min has done oil painting for non-metallic metal.
Those look really cool.
And it's pretty amazing. So, and then this is stonework.
Yeah, very nice. Those are rad.
And oils is so much fun to work with. You'd actually like oils, I think, if you tried them. Because
What brand are you using?
we're just using artist level. I don't know. I just got, I think, Winsor Newton, maybe? Whatever artist level. So, like,
So these are not miniature focused oils that you're using.
well, there's nobody really makes them. They're AK is starting to, but one of the arguments about using these are the oils. These are the same oil formula paints used by Michelangelo and Da Vinci.
Nice.
That's awesome.
And so if you look at the Sistine Chapel, it still pretty much looks today what it looked like 500 years ago when he did
Right.
it. And that's one of the big arguments that I encountered in multiple classes for why you don't use Army Painter, you don't use Vallejo, you don't use all these miniatures paints, and you use either heavy body acrylics or heavy body oils, because in 500 years you know what your miniatures are going to look like. And with Army Painter, you have no idea what your miniatures are going to look like.
Tell us again, the heavy body acrylics you can only get from Noble Knight Games on Dre.
No. What you're talking about is the Andrea matte paint. So the process on these, just to give you the process, that's what we're talking about, is if you see down here where the black is, we did a black coat, or blue, Russian blue actually was the color, of what the Andrea paints, which is a flat acrylic paint. And what Luca Zaba, who did this, who won a Golden Demon this year with an oil painted miniature, he puts that base down because he's experimented with every paint that exists, matte paint, and none of them have the same qualities as this paint. And it is like a sponge when you look at its molecular level.
Is it this griffin that he did with the ocean like crashing
Yes.
up against it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on, Rich. I'm going to share my screen real quick. Because if you recommend these, I'm going to buy them right now. I'm going to order them right now.
But these create the base that you have.
Mm-hmm.
Winsor Newton Professional Acrylics, yes.
Because look, majority monopigment,
Yep. That's
professional quality.
super important. Well, they're acrylics, yeah. They're your acrylics. They're not oils, just so you know.
What do you think of this set of? Yeah, I want acrylics.
They're great. I mean,
What do you think of this starter set?
you can find them. They're meant for miniatures painters. Is Mineworks makes a miniatures painter series, including one that's specifically by Brahm.
What if I had these colors, Rich? Do you like these?
So you want, I mean, there's 6 colors you need. You need phthalo green is not really necessary. You want raw umber. You want a magenta. Is there a magenta in there?
No.
You
Looks
need a
like I'd be
magenta.
better off just going individual.
You need
So
You want an aquamarine, a magenta, a dark blue, a ochre, yellow,
what do you like? Ultramarine blue, cobalt blue? What do you like?
phthalo blue.
Ooh, you know where I know phthalo blue from? What's his name? Phthalo blue green.
Yes.
This one right here.
Yep.
Okay. 60 milliliter. Good amount.
You look at your color wheel, and you want to pick a paint. Every other paint, basically, on the color wheel. I wish I had the list. Marco gave us a list of which ones you want.
What was that? You said magenta, right?
You want a magenta, yes. Because magenta is how you make red, so you don't need a red. Then you want I had a picture of it somewhere. You want a ochre. So it's going to be a yellow brown kind of somewhere in between, and then a raw umber too. Then of course black and white is always necessary.
Any particular black, particular
The
white?
nice thing, Robbie, about black and white and when you're using single pigments is that if you want a dark red, you add black. If you want a lighter red. Of course, red you're going to probably add a little yellow, but they actually work. They don't change the tone of it. They change it to a darker color. They'll
Do you
desaturate it because the colors
You like
are
titanium white, or should it be like an off-white?
You want titanium because you can make an off-white. That's easy.
So far, I got titanium white, ivory black, raw lumber, quinacridone magenta, phthalo blue green.
Get a
What-
Payne's gray. Payne's gray is a really cool color.
Payne's gray. Here it is.
Yeah, if you add white to it, it becomes blue.
Okay. What else do I need, Rich?
Ochre. You want an ochre. I can't read your screen, but you want to go up. Nope, right around there. There should be ochre.
Gold ochre.
Gold ochre. Is there any other more yellowy ochres? Go down.
Raw sienna, gold, cadmium orange,
Go down a little more. Somewhere in there should be an ochre.
yellow ochre.
Yep, yellow ochre. That's what you want.
Cool.
I'm trying to think of what else. There was you have a dark blue, probably a green, and I would say what is the green?
I have phthalo green blue.
No, not phthalo green blue. It should be I have it somewhere here. It's a green it's a dark green. Read me some colors. What's that green right?
Davies gray, olive green, chromium oxide green, permanent sap green, hooker's green, perline green.
Whoa, that's the one you got to watch out for.
Yeah, hooker.
That's the one you want.
Which one?
Hooker's green.
There we go. So it was just said. Okay. So I've got hooker's green, yellow ochre, Payne's gray, titanium white, ivory black, raw lumber, magenta, phthalo green. Need a blue.
Need a dark blue and a purple.
Okay.
Through her research, Amy got a 1880s Winsor Newton catalog, and the size like 0 and 1 brushes in it were 4 pence. And I looked up the conversion rate, or for the inflation calculator for 4 pence in 1880, and it was $34.50. And that same brush right now costs $34.99 on their website. That's legit pricing strategy right there across 146 years.
You know what the nice thing about oil paints is you spend money on the oil paints, Dusty.
Yeah.
And your 4 generations from now, they'll still be using them.
Could you put you out of the same tube? Like, do you have problems with them drying out or anything?
Never dry out. Like,
nice.
They last forever. But the nice thing too, though, is you only have to spend like $2 or $3 on your brush.
Yeah.
All right, Rich.
You do not want a good, like a Winsor Newton brush. You don't,
because the oil will get into the bristles, right?
More so is you'd actually have a bristly brush that's kind of able to stipple and stuff is what you really want. And then one of the brushes is just a brush to kind of drop to kind of move the paint around. You actually are making your palette. So what happens is you put that base coat down, the Andrea paint, and then you slop on a mud of whatever your coat is. So in this case, it was like this black blue that you see down in mine. You can't see mine right now.
I can see it on the little screen. Yeah,
it's a black blue color, and you slop it on. It's almost like it looks like mud. It's so messy and so dirty. You're like, oh my god. Then you're gonna let that sit for 20 minutes. That's your palette you've just made.
Okay.
This is on the palette itself.
On the miniature.
On the miniature.
Miniature is your palette now.
Okay.
And then you take a clean brush and you remove after 20 minutes all that paint. So you just clean it off and you use either alcohol or lighter fluid to clean your brush because it evaporates almost immediately. So you don't have any material left. You don't want to use white spirits. And then now you actually start painting. So after about a half hour, you set everything up. Then you add a little bit of white, say, near the edge, and then you slowly blend that back in, eventually getting to the point where you don't see any more. If you need a little more, you just tip a couple in. Then you have 2 brushes. You're always working with 2 brushes. One is the brush that puts the paint on. One is the brush that takes the paint off. and you just keep doing that, and you can do it for hours. The same model,
That's
until
crazy.
exactly where you want it, and then you let it dry for a day, and then come back and do something else.
Crazy.
So it is a little bit painstaking.
Most of the Golden Demon guys don't do that though, right? Not with oils.
He's the only oil painter in the whole line.
Marco is.
No, not Mark.
No,
Marco
Lucas. Lucas Zaba.
Zaba, yeah, Lucas
Crazy.
Zaba, one who he's the first, I think, one of the first guys to ever win a Golden Demon with oils.
I mean that miniature is beautiful. Like
It you know, and his, I can tell you, he has an entire like case pretty much at Marco's vault because of his miniatures. Min has a lot of his bust. She loves his bust.
that's cool.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Everybody go over what they did. I'm gonna make Rich the top screen.
Oh, I didn't even put my paints on the palette.
My entire squad of Traitors Toll. This was the other thing I covered. Dusty Traitors Toll. Guards of Traitors Toll.
Uh-huh.
It's a solo or co-op miniatures game where you're putting your guards together, and then you have a bunch of random villagers wandering around. And when they every round you draw tokens, and if you draw a plot card, one of them villagers is the bad guy. Or
Hey,
Go.
it's Gray for Now games?
Yep, Gray for Now game.
Nice.
Of it is you're uncovering plots in the city, but it might say like the nearest model with no shoes on is the bad guy.
Oh, so it's Guess Who?
That's funny. This is 15 Raveners.
Yeah, I'm pretty impressed with that, Robbie. That looks really good.
I'll probably next week dry brush them and do all the stuff, unless I do it in between. Then I'll paint like 6 zoanthropes or something on stream. But Dusty doesn't have his.
I mean, just the guy I held up earlier.
I'm gonna put you on the big screen 1 second. Boom. Green this time, Dusty.
Gorgon, High Fleet Gorgon for this guy. Yep.
Cool. Very cool. All right, guys. Rich will be traveling next week. Dusty, are you going to be around?
I'll be here. Yep.
I'll be here. I'm not going to take my oil paints on the travel.
Oh, gotcha. Rich, send me that complete list of what acrylics I need.
Yeah, I'll get it. I have from Marco's class.
Send me the brush too.
Yeah, sounds good. All right, see you guys.